We're going to make an important announcement today regarding the Bible and the Ten Commandments. My staff has been looking at Oklahoma statute. We've been looking at Oklahoma academic standards. And it's crystal clear to us that in the Oklahoma academic standards, under Title 70, multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country, to have a complete understanding of Western civilization, to have an understanding of the basis of our legal system, and is frankly, when we're talking about the Bible, one of the most foundational documents used for the Constitution and the birth of our country.
This is the Oklahoma story that I teased earlier on accident when I got my red states mixed up. That was Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters discussing his mandate that every classroom in the state will have a Bible. This story is so crazy. That was from June of this year, so just a few months ago. And now as we embark on a new school year, the 2024-2025 school year, Walters is making good on his promise. But to prove that he's not messing around, he's got some very, very high standards for the Bibles that will be allowed in Oklahoma public schools. The Oklahoma Department of Education opened bids for this week for a Bible supplier. The state wants 55,000 Bibles, but the Bibles they have to comply with all these points. They have to be a King James Bible, fine. They have to contain both the Old and New Testament, that makes sense. It also has to include copies of the Pledge of Allegiance, the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. A little unusual, and they must be bound in leather. Interesting. No paperback for these Oklahoma babies, right? Mardel Christian and Education specializes in biblical education, and despite carrying 2,900 different Bibles, a salesperson could not find a single version that they carried that met all of Walter's insane and very specific standards. Well, one Bible meets the standard. It happens to be Lee Greenwood's God Bless the U.S.A. Bible, more commonly known as the Trump Bible, as it is the very same Bible that Trump has endorsed. There he is holding his leather-bound Trump-endorsed Bible. Another Bible that meets the standard, the We the People Bible, was also endorsed by Trump and promoted by that guy, his son, Don Jr., these people. One retails for $60 and the other retails for $90. And remember, he wants 55,000 of these. Of course, Trump gets a kickback from sales for his endorsement. So that's fine. Just take all the money from public education and give it to Trump. That's what he's trying to do. That is what he's doing. He's on that influencer grind. Trump, he knows all about that. But Trump aside, this might be a violation of state law, according to former Oklahoma Attorney General Drew Edmonson. Here's what he had to say. He said, "It appears to me that this bid is anything but competitive. It adds to the basic specification other requirements that have nothing to do with the text. The special binding and inclusion of government documents will exclude almost all bidders. If the bid specs exclude most bidders unnecessarily, I could consider that a violation." Okay, but let's talk again about those price tags. Public school systems are notoriously underfunded, so every dollar counts, right? Well, firstly, he wants 55,000 Bibles. There are only 43,000 classroom teachers in the state, so he's already overshooting it. And not all of those classrooms teach relevant courses that he mentioned, like history and literature. I don't know why he needs 55,000 Bibles, but 55,000 Bibles at $60 a piece works out to about $3.3 million in Bibles. For reference, a paperback version of the King James Bible goes for about $3, which is just 5% of the cost of the Trump Bible, which is bound in leather. And where is that money going to come from? Well, Oklahoma, they had a lot of payroll savings this year. Ever since Walters took office last year, over 130 people have either resigned or been fired from the Oklahoma State Department of Education. Cenk, the grift just keeps on grifting. This is crazy. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so there's a lot to break down here. First of all, he says, Bible's just absolutely necessary, not because we're teaching Christianity. No. We need it in each classroom because it's a historical document. The Quran is also a historical document. I'm sure they're going to put that in all the classrooms too. Oh no, I'm hearing that they are not going to put the Quran in all the classrooms, only the Bible. The Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, Rig Vedas, any of those Historical, nope. We're not getting into any of that. I Ching, nope, just the Bible. And then I thought, but okay, that's fine. I get it. You know, you're trying to bring religion into the schools and pay off Trump at the same time. But 55,000, that seems like a lot. I mean, I assume they were going to put it in the library, right? Okay, you got the Bible in the library, that makes sense. And you probably should have the religious text in the library. But there's not 55,000 libraries in Oklahoma in the schools. No, he says, no, we need it for every history class and every literature class. Really, we're reading the Bible in literature class and history class, but no other religious text. No, he's just trying to buy as many as possible to get a bigger amount to his beloved Donald Trump. So you put aside the church and state thing, which is outrageous and totally unacceptable. Now we get to the specific kind of, you could buy the Bible, like as Yaz just told you, for $3. So why are you buying it for $60? I thought Republicans were for fiscal responsibility, right? Oh, there was a big government taxing us too much. Here they're taxing you to just simply take it and hand it to Donald Trump. He's already made $300,000 from these Bibles. This will 10x it in just on Oklahoma sales alone. This brother's going to be Secretary of State if Donald Trump wins. Because understand why he's doing it, not just because he loves Donald Trump, but because he knows, hey, if I get Trump a couple of $1 million, I'm going to advance really far in the Republican Party, because Trump doesn't care about your competence or if you're good at your job, your expertise. Those things are like a joke to him. He hires people based on loyalty. And if you get him money, I'm telling you, man, this guy's gonna have a huge job in the Trump administration if this really goes through. But the people of Oklahoma, they're robbing you blind on behalf of Donald Trump. Is that what you signed up for? And if you're MAGA and you're in Oklahoma, go, that's right, that's exactly what I signed up for. Okay, take my taxpayer dollars and give it directly to that guy. Are you sure you'd say the same thing? First of all, please go to a psychiatrist or something, a therapist, get some help. But imagine if the Kamala Harris's supporters were like, well, we need a Torah in every classroom, and history and literature classroom. So we're gonna buy the Doug Mhof Torah at 60 or 90 bucks instead of $3 and put it into all the classrooms. What would the Republicans say? Outrageous! And here, I haven't heard a peep yet from Republicans. Do you guys care about anything you claim to care about? Mondo.
Not at all, Cenk. Listen, Yasmin, Cenk, listen to this. Oklahoma is ranked number 8 in this country for poverty for kids. 21% of the students in Oklahoma are living in poverty. And we talking about 3.3 million. That's on the low end. If they somehow get those $90 Bibles, we're talking about $4.9 million on Bibles. And y'all, we already know that there are plenty of Christian institutions that would just donate to churches, right? So this is actually a complete waste of money. But let's talk about the poverty rate. Imagine the reason that so many people in Oklahoma, this is not me talking, this is what the stats say. So many people in Oklahoma are in poverty because of high teen pregnancy rate and also the inability to finish high school and low education rates. Look at that. So we want to bring in the Bible to explain Western civilization. We want to bring in the Bible to explain the history of America, even though it was written thousands of years before America was founded. I guess that works out. I forgot. I guess it's prophetic. That's what it was. It was prophetic.
A little Mormon, even.
Yeah, even, right? Even. Don't forget, those Mormons said black folk couldn't go to heaven to 1978. So
changed their mind. Yeah, God changed his mind on that on black people. So.
Yeah, and I think him requiring the Bill of Rights having to be in this and it to be leather bound and it be constitutional was the only thing that explained American history, I guess, because without the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, the Bible does nothing to explain the existence of America. And those who wrote the Constitution absolutely were sure that they didn't want a constitutional democracy, a biblical democracy or anything near it, because that's why they freed us from the tyranny of religion. And they said it so much so.
Yeah, and I think the thing that bothers me so much about this story is the excuse that he gave, the reason that he gave for why he wanted to have the Bible in classrooms. He wanted to have it there as a literary text or as a historical document. And that was so upsetting to me because I was a lit major in college, my undergrad. And yeah, knowledge of the Bible came in handy on multiple occasions, right? There's always biblical references in all these different works that you're reading. So it did help to know the Bible. I read so much of the Bible. I read probably more of the Bible than most Christians have. But I took a class in college, and it's probably my favorite class that I've ever taken. Shout out to Dr. Ferguson, who's probably not watching, but he was really great. And it was the Bible as literature, right? And that was a very distinction. You're not teaching it remotely as a religious text. None of it is established as this is the word of God. It's like, who wrote this book? And you have to figure out who wrote the book. You know, it was some guy wrote the book, or a bunch of guys wrote the book, however long ago. And that context matters. That is not what's going to happen in Oklahoma, in public schools in Oklahoma. This was a seminar in a college course, right? In a high level college course. So we were doing this. It takes a very skillful professor to teach a class like that. And it takes a class full of people who are going to be receptive to what's happening in that class to understand any of it. And I understand the argument that he was making. And that's why it upset me so much, because I think that he's perverting and corrupting something that makes sense. And he's using it for a really sinister purpose. And on top of that, the people of Oklahoma who might support this move or this guy, it doesn't make any sense there's no way to justify a $3 Bible versus a $60 Bible. Just the cost alone. If you want to get a Bible in classrooms, and do it with a $3 Bible instead of a $60 Bible. Doesn't that just like reek of we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing? It's so obvious to me, and I don't know how anybody could support it just on those grounds alone.
Yeah,
Jasmine, speaking of corruption, let me make sure people understand. Dr. Ferguson is not watching this show because he's on Rebel HQ right now. Probably one of our, newly members since we just crossed 1 million viewers, our members, subscribers.
Yeah, that's right. Yasmin and Mondale are both on Rebel HQ, and they just passed 1 million subscribers. Make sure you're checking that out on YouTube too. But I got to build off of what you guys said real quick. Number one, Thomas Jefferson had what was called the Jefferson Bible, and no, it wasn't leather bound and cost more money. It actually would have cost less money because he ripped out the majority of the Bible. He literally ripped out the pages because he's like, this doesn't make any sense at all. I'm just keeping the good parts. That's the brother who wrote not only the Declaration of Independence, but the Virginia Constitution, which James Madison used as the model for the U.S. Constitution. They were deists. They didn't even, half of them didn't even believe in Christianity, let alone the full Bible. Ironically, apparently, this Republican legislator missed that part of the history lesson of America. Now, on the literature point, you know what? I'd let this brother pass this bill or this mandate if he could prove to me that he actually read the whole Bible. I'm not sure a single.
No, he hasn't. There's no way he has.
There's no way. There's no way. Because you know why? Because I tried to read the whole Bible, and I read huge sections of it, and I read huge parts of the Quran. They are both unreadable, okay? The minute you start reading it, it says beget this, another dude beget that, and etc. And then they cut the foreskin and they murdered everybody, and then God loses to the other God, etc. You can't get through it. Okay, so these guys, they haven't, but I know so many Bible verses because I at least tried to read the whole thing. Okay, these guys don't know any of the Bible verses. That's why they get the thing completely wrong. And none of them have ever read the whole thing. I haven't even come close on that count. So yeah, let me see you in the literature class reading that Bible. And lastly, to Yasmin's point about the corruption. Look, guys, I was going to kid around about the Cenk Quran, but yeah, I'm from a Muslim background, but I'm atheist now. So my favorite book is Sapiens, right? And it's a great book. You should check it out. But if I made a deal with the author of that book and I was getting paid off of a leather-bound Sapiens, and you could buy Sapiens for $3, or you could buy the Cenk Sapiens for $60. And then a Democrat passed a law saying you have to buy Cenk Sapiens, okay? And you have to pay 20 times the amount. Come on, Republicans, you know that that would be corruption. Please stop blinding yourself with your bias. It's just as much corruption when they force you to buy the Trump Bible. And how sacrilegious is it? I mean, it's almost like the money is going to a money changer In order to you're going to believe in the Bible. If you have to, you want to believe in God, and you want to read the Bible. Nope, you got to read it through the Trump Bible and pay him money in order to do that. That is not what Jesus said. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.